Browns do have younger guys on the defensive side of the ball. Do you think that factors into Jim Schwartz saying, let's go get some guys that are familiar with my defense? The more I think about it, the more that makes sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think a lot of coaches like to do that, right? They bring their guys in. It helps teach other guys the scheme. It helps kind of give you, not credibility, but maybe an extra degree of credibility because they've been around. They can say, hey, he knows what he's doing to the other players. So it'll be interesting to see what spots that's, the Schwartz guys, if they get them, are at. I don't know if there's a safety that fits, but, Brandon Graham could fit. Javon Hargrave could fit, right? Like guys that he's had some experience with, with the Eagles, especially maybe with the Titans the last couple of years. I like that idea. I just think you have to find the perfect marriage.
Yeah, without question. The other thing that's really interesting, Kevin Stefanski talked about watching Jim Schwartz coach the coaches in his style of defense. Another thing I found really interesting.
Yeah, and that's something, I think Kevin's been big on. That he thinks is important, right? You got to grow these coaches, you got to establish them. I know he's proud of Drew Petzing from going from his staff to coordinator with the Cardinals under Jonathan Gannon. But it comes into play, especially with Schwartz, because it's a shift, right? They're still in the 4-3, but it's a different style than Joe Woods had, right? I think it's more attacking up front. You got the wide nine, that we think he's going to use a significant amount with your defensive ends. So it's important to translate that message to your coaching staff and also to the front office personnel people so they can go find the right guys.
Were you buying Kevin's response that he thought that there were enough of the defensive linemen to play Jim Schwartz? I was a little skeptical with that one.
No, that's
he's not going to say,
right?
We need everybody.
Yeah, I mean, some guys do, right? Some guys are honest, like, hey, there's a big hole. But, some of those guys are still going to be on the team, right? Jordan Elliott, right. Tommy Togiai, at least show up for the offseason, probably training camp still with the team. So you can't kill him, but we know that that's a huge need, right? Whether it's D-tackle, the DN to replace Jadeveon Clowney, and we can argue about what the priorities are, 1, 2, and 3, but those are, in my opinion, 1 and 2. Yeah,
and before we go to break, think of this. I can't get past thinking about this. Myles Garrett had 18 sacks. Everybody else had 16. He chases potential quarterbacks up into your defensive tackles because they're not getting around him, they're stepping up. That means your defensive tackles were not winning one-on-one battles.
No, they weren't. And really, outside of Clowney, who only had a couple sacks, your ends weren't doing it, right? Alex Wright didn't have a quarterback hit, I don't think, the rookie. So you need help, right? Myles needs help. And, he fights you double teams and triple teams, and that's obvious. And he still succeeds and he still produces. But just imagine if you had guys around him, just take a little bit of that load off or force a guy his way once in a while.
Yeah, think about it. Maybe you can get 25 snaps where he's not double teamed.
Right. And then he probably gets, I don't think it's crazy to think out of those 25, you get 2 or 3 sacks, right?
Yeah, I agree.
He's that kind of guy.
I agree wholeheartedly.